Greetings, ladies and melogents, and welcome to this latest narration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 4, Chapter 4, Lesson 1. Log 6,001.0.15. Personal, Captain Yormdrill. Overnight, I identified 4 gangers who obviously give orders. It was corroborated by Pavdril and Quindrum. Gregory and Yamdril have identified 6 more. Then, Gregory laid out our options as he saw them. We could split up into the 2 teams and search for Linus specifically. I believe the Feather People will be the best vector for finding him, as they are the most likely to help him. It might also be a good idea to capture another one of their child fighters and scare him or her back home to Mommy. This may give us an opportunity to confirm observed leaders and their ranks within the organization. Another option is to allow Linus to fend for himself while we dismantle the gang. This will relieve any pressure he is under by those searching for him, and he can get some rest and find a way to contact the Wee Sing for pickup. We can do this by besieging the building. There are 3 positions I can quickly cycle through and control the main street. You can break your teams into duos to control the remaining access points and make entering or exiting the building a death sentence, while I pick off targets of opportunity through the windows. This assumes that they have limited supplies, and that Linus is hiding outside the building. The other option is to draw them out into skirmishes in battlefields of our choosing by allowing one of their patrols to catch a duo without support. The duo would then fall back to a prepared defensive position where their other 2 team members lie in wait as the other fire team is held in reserve. If they are reinforced, then the other team will cut them off and our full force will eliminate their force. The enemy will likely increase the size of their patrol groups and reinforced forces until they have been sufficiently depleted, at which point we begin ambushing them. Once they cease sending forces out, we will need to breach the building and eliminate the remainder of the forces, and either capture or kill their leadership. This assumes that Linus's hiding in place might be at risk and draws enemy focus to places of our choosing, rather than their stronghold. My third option is a hybrid of the 2. One fire team continues investigating, while the other fire team and I put pressure on the gang. The siege options could put the investigation team at risk, since Linus might be hiding near or inside the building. Without an additional team for support, the prepared position strategy is flawed. So the pressure team will conduct hit-and-run ambushes in a wide area far away from the area of investigation team's operations. We are all eager for 2 things, getting our family back and teaching the criminals a lesson they'll never forget. But remember, Linus is counting on us to be smart, be cautious, and stay alive long enough to rescue him. No glorious charges, no heroic last stands, no self-sacrificial distractions. We move as a squad, we act in concert, and we take as long as it takes. Pops, I know you don't want to be on the spot, but I estimate each of these options to have a roughly equal chance of success. I began, as I mulled his assessment over, I think that the hybrid option makes the most sense. We can weaken them while distracting them from the investigation team. Also, you might be able to convince more of them to flee. Pops, I want you investigating. No, I will kill. Who should you see first? That was remarkably unfair of him. Downright dastardly. There was nothing I could do except concede. There was no reason I should let him get away with that, though. Aye, Lieutenant, I'm appointing you Master-at-Arms henceforth. He gave me the most satisfying indignant scowl. Fine. Remember, I won't have you in my sights most of the time, Pops. Keep yourself safe. Keep the brothers safe. A sobering order. We broke apart and performed our assignment duties. The Corvians were eager to help, but knew little. The images of the suspected leaders came in useful, though, as they were able to confirm that they were mid-level bosses, not expected to patrol the streets, but not calling the shots for the organization either. Well, that's a vital link in any chain of command. Gregory will be pleased to know that information. Our interest in the organization of the gang opened a further line of inquiry, as several of the Corvians had thought to capture images of the gang leaders, and the leaders of the gangs with connections to this one, perhaps all members of the Mafia of sorts. The upper echelons of the leadership were all Jakku, and, more disturbingly, one of the criminal connections was to a poaching ship with an all-too-familiar captain. He should be in prison, but recent events cast doubt on the Jacobian justice system. It was as we were getting dangerously close to the gang building that we caught a break. The furtive movements of a child trying to hide. It would have embarrassed Jovdrol, but the girl was better at it than most children are. If it wasn't for Gregory turning the quarters deck into a perpetual game of hide and dart, we might have missed her. In any case, we were able to follow her to a shady but well-kept apartment building, unfortunate enough to share a wall with the gang headquarters. Knocking on the door yielded immediate results, and directions to floor 3, apartment 16. Within was my beautiful, beautiful son. He had not only saved himself, but 24 other children. This complicated things, but I was too busy weeping with joy to consider that just then.
"Daddy, where is Sneaky?"
he asked, as soon as I loosened my embrace enough for him to breathe again. He is distracting the bad people with Uncle Yemdril, I explained. He turned to face the other children, the older Jakuko, nearing her pupil's equivalent to her halfway, I should think, and said somewhat fiercely,
"I told you my brother and Daddy were coming."
"Of course we came. We will always come," I said, as I embraced him again. The matron, the wonderful grandmother, asked soberly, "Can you move so many children safely?" "I don't think we can," said Sodron. "Not unless we get some help." I calmed Gregory. "I found him." "Round duck, movement behind the trash can to your left. Put eyes on it." "I see him, Yum. Hostile element. I have your back. Check inside the vehicle. Good news, Pops. Let's get him shipboard and we can refocus on the gang."
"He managed to escape with 24 other children."
"You really need to let me learn some swear words. How far from the building?"
"If we open a window, I can hear someone screaming about find the kids already and profanity. A lot of profanity."
"Is he being helped by feather people?"
"Yes."
"Are they willing to send someone to plan with us?" I looked to the matron questioningly, and she said,
"I can send my sons." "There is a matron here. She'll send her sons. I don't think they speak seafarers' negotiation."
"You can translate for me. I see him. Hostile eliminated. I want to see if we can frighten at least the child soldiers into running. I think you know why. Tell the matron where our base camp is. We'll confer in the morning. Is Yoiv safe?"
"He's closer to danger than I'd prefer, but we know the point to draw them away from now."
"We'll call Mom and get us a shuttle."
"Aye, Lieutenant."
"You and your team stay put and guard the kids. We'll up the pressure. Quintrum, that stack of crates looks wrong. Cover it. Pendril, circle around."
I cut him off and let him focus. "Dear Diary, it's a lot of work to keep all the littles occupied all day, and tiring. Jaeger's gotten a little better, but it's still pretty clear that he's upset at the situation. He's not letting himself take it out on anybody, though. So he's getting understanding instead of conflict. It turns out that the dock levels and the commerce levels just below them have been where the station's government has focused the vast majority of their efforts in an effort to insulate us and other star sailors from the worsening crime in the lower levels. Gross. It's gotten worse and worse, and even though security basically never goes lower than residential level 3, the lower and system levels are somehow over-policed, and it's like a major injustice or whatever. Gross. Mom has threatened to throttle the station mayor at least 4 times today. I kinda wanted to do it. Like, you can't just ignore people getting robbed or beaten or kidnapped or even killed because it makes the super rich people who think that they know best uncomfortable to see the number of arrests go up. Just because they're not rich doesn't mean that you can just let the criminals hurt them all the time. It's wrong. I checked the feed from the embarkation docks and I saw something. I can't leave the shipper. The littles need me. The remainder of the page is occupied by a bipedal reptile with large eyes and a very distinct scar down its face. "Dear hero Loggery, the mean girl was wrong and I was right. Daddy and Sneaky came to save us. They will save all of us because they are heroes. Daddy says I'm a hero for getting away. Daddy and Sneaky need to make a plan so that we can get home. It will work." Mission Log 4, date 163, named Gregory George. Mission Planetary Rescue. Mission Objectives: rescue Linus from unknown hostiles connected to a shady lawyer. Linus located on planet. Shuttle company name determined. Shuttle by green. Gang identified. Gang headquarters identified. Likely information vector identified. Information vector obtained. Large number of gangers in hiding. Linus has escaped. Linus secured. Linus has rescued other kidnapped victims.
Exfiltrate Linus and other kidnapped victims. Eliminate or neutralize all hostiles. 1 hostile neutralized non-lethally. 1 hostile eliminated. 6 hostiles eliminated. 1 potential hostile neutralized. 8 hostiles eliminated. 9 hostiles neutralized. 3 potential hostiles neutralized. Teach the criminal elements a lesson. 1 example provided. 1 demonstration provided. 3 demonstrations provided. 9 examples provided. Mission parameters. Minimize collateral casualties. Minimize collateral property damage. Evade detection by station security. Minimize station damage. Protect allies. Potential action plan. Confer with matron representatives. Establish escape vector for Linus and other children. Apply pressure in direction opposing the escape vector. Exfiltrate Linus and other victims through use of the shuttle from Mom. Observations irrelevant to mission. Crow boys are very friendly, have strong social bonds and completely reject criminal gang. They talk with what a weird clicking noise crows and ravens make. Glad as feck that I am with the Believers family. Pops made me an officer. Jerk. Caffeine powder is an illicit drug. Might make the tea better. End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters. Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Creighton, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.